Peace and blessings, beloved. Come here to be educated, empowered, enlightened, inspired, motivated, and challenged to be critical and independent thinkers. Let's get to it.
Yeah, believe in yourself. Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Believe in yourself. Yeah. Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Believe in yourself. Health is wealth.
Peace and blessings, beloved. I pray all is well with you and yours. Welcome to the Life LessonsU Series, D Rose Believe in Yourself edition. Today we're going to discuss the topic of perseverance using the story of the Windy City assassin, one Mr. Derrick Rose himself, who was an NBA player and was once touted as the next big thing. However, as a good number of you already know, his career was derailed by a series of devastating knee injuries as well as ankle issues, all of which also resulted in some psychological battles which impacted him both on and off the court. And so what actually spurred this desire of mine to cover this story, despite the fact that I've long had admiration for Derrick Rose, his character, his humility, even prior to the injuries, which is really what I want to point out here. Clearly he had a great night statistically on Halloween. He had a career high, which is kind of unheard of for a veteran in his 11th year, especially one that has had the injury history that he has. I just thought it was very appropriate to the tenor of my platform to cover a story like this in which I could extract the concepts of perseverance and grit and resilience and mental toughness and really drive home how important these attributes are, and then just to show a model of character and humility in a young man who's had adversity, and really show that we as non-professional athletes, as non-millionaires, as average people, can also battle adversity in the same way and come out on top, enlightened and reinvigorated and still confident and assured in ourselves and understanding who we are and what we want in life. And also the concept of value, which I think is very, very much essential to have a firm grasp on, will be covered in this topic as well. It's of utmost importance to have an understanding about value, self-value, and to also see how the world assigns us value. And it's going to be very clear to you as we get into this coverage that the world does indeed assign a value to you. Everybody does. Whether it's your employer, your friend, your significant other, your children, anybody you deal with on a daily basis has given you a value. And it's important to understand that dynamic in every relationship so that you can properly navigate them and maximize on your return from your perceived value. Now, before we get to the post-game press conference, I want to show you some reaction commentary from some of the popular sports shows from around the world. And then I'm going to use some of the quotes to provide context to the message that I want to convey. So first up, we have the show Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, the former being a longtime member of the sports media and the latter being a Hall of Fame NFL tight end.
How do you explain the performance from him last night?
It was Halloween. He dressed up as D. Rose 2011 when he was the MVP. That's why I explained it. It was a magical moment.
You'll notice Shannon Sharp referencing Derrick Rose dressing up as a 2011 version of himself. Of course, that being the year that he won the Most Valuable Player award. And then he also referenced it as a follow-up as being a magical moment. And so when you hear a phrase and verbiage like that, it's important to put it in its proper context and think about instances in which you are able to relate to that phrase or that word. So a magical moment, you think about what was a magical moment in your life. And typically, if you're an adult, you don't really experience magical moments. Now the world may try to tell you that, love is a magical thing, or something to that effect. But if you really dig in the crates and think about it, magical moments are reserved for children, because it really speaks to a fantasy, something that is not real, something that you can escape reality to experience and enjoy. And so when you hear that kind of phrase being used to describe this Derrick Rose moment, it just goes to show you that this individual, and he speaks for a lot of people, because as you'll hear, Skip also shares that sentiment as well, as do many others. But again, what I want you to focus on is how lightly they're taking this moment. Now they do give Derrick Rose a little bit of credit and praise in this clip, but you can definitely feel the undertone being a lack of seriousness as it relates to how they view this moment. Now, of course, it would be foolhardy to think that Derrick Rose is now going to go on a tear where he's averaging 35 points a game. Clearly, that's not his role on the team. If you know anything about the NBA and about the Minnesota Timberwolves in particular, you know his position on that team, not his playing position, but his role in the hierarchy. He's a bench player, and so by virtue of that, he won't get the minutes to sustain what he's doing. And he's 11 years in the league with those injuries, and so we know that his body probably won't be able to sustain that. But the point is this: Derrick Rose is still highly gifted, extremely talented as a basketball player, and his passion and love for the game will allow him to continue to play at a high level, because he knows that if he cannot play at a high level, he won't play. That's just how he sees the thing. He's not just going to collect a check. He's very wealthy. He had a very lucrative deal that he signed with Adidas. I don't know the particulars of his contract, but what I do know is that it was quite substantial. I think $250 million over the life of it. And so he has money, and he knows his value, and he understands the story that he wants to write for his career. And so I definitely applaud him for that. And I just want to bring it home that it's important to always know your worth, to always know your value, and to never let any external factor determine that. Now, having said that, it's important to understand how the world sees you, so that you can maximize on the value they assign to you, because there's no way to get around that. I mean, if you work at a job, the employer has a value on you. That's your salary. And of course, there's opportunity for bonuses or overtime or things like that. But the second that you don't produce according to the value that has been assigned to you, you will no longer have that job. Similarly, in friendships, relationships, your partner, your friend assigns a value to you. You've been in dynamics where you've had people who come to you when they need something. You might hear from them once in a blue moon, but that blue moon is definitely going to be a time of need for them. That's the value that they've assigned to you. They don't necessarily want to spend time with you, but they value your counsel. They know that you'll listen to them, that you may give them the answer that they want. I could go deeper into that, but the point is, understand your value, understand that people might not take you seriously, but you should always take yourself seriously.
You know, he said when he first got into the league, he wanted to win the MVP. Now at this juncture of his career, he wants to be sixth man of the year.
And so what I really want to touch on here briefly is the importance of setting personal goals and having those goals be both audacious and realistic. You know, what does that mean? So of course you can make a lofty goal. You can make a goal that might seem to be far-fetched to others, but that you, knowing yourself, of course, knowing the heart, the passion, the grit, the determination that you have inside of you, you can make that goal with a certain level of confidence. And so with that, you have to also be realistic as to not set yourself further back and regress as opposed to progress. And so Derrick Rose clearly thinks that he can reach this goal. I don't think this is an instance of wishful thinking. I don't think Derrick Rose is foolish enough to set a goal that is too difficult for him to achieve just for him to have those psychological demons re-enter his life. And so it's critical that we set personal goals. We should always be looking for ways in which to improve ourselves into making an impact in life in general and then in the lives of other people. So my homework for you, if you so choose, is for you to go be by yourself and really contemplate your life. Contemplate where you are currently and where you want to go, and set some goals. Put pen to paper and write out some things that you want to accomplish. And I want you to be audacious and realistic, and you'll find that when you marry those two, there are no bounds to what you can accomplish, because you've already set the stage based on the level of confidence that you have and understanding where you are in the world. So again, I encourage you all to do it. I'm going to definitely continue to do so.
If you remember, Skip, I think it came out in 2008. Russ was in that draft. He was doing what we see Russ do before Russ was doing.